seen the countless trailers over the past few months and gameplay footage from E3, I've got to say I've been really hyped for the latest Transformers game. Growing up watching the cartoon series likely had me a bit biased going into this, but as we know from the past, most movie or cartoon-based video games tend to suck ass, so you never really know what you're going to get. Lucky for us, High Moon Studio and Activision's latest iteration of this great franchise is anything but terrible. While the campaign is relatively short, the multiplayer totally kicks ass. Released 2 weeks ago for the PC, 360, and PS3, here's Transformers: War for Cybertron.
Cybertron, our home.
The setting for War for Cybertron actually takes place before both of the movies and reminds me more of the cartoon series. The entire campaign places both the Autobots and Decepticons on Cybertron in the middle of their civil war before they're forced to leave their homeworld in search of another suitable planet to live. The story first places you in the shoes of the Decepticons as they try to harness and master the use of an ancient power source called Dark Energon, which they hope will help them finally win the war. Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons, finds a way to utilize this energy and causes all kinds of hell for the planet and its inhabitants. The Autobot campaign follows very shortly after and basically shows their struggle in reacting to the devastation brought upon the planet and leads up to why they have to leave and where they're gonna go. What's neat is we actually get to see some of our favorite characters develop and gain some backstory, like how Starscream becomes Megatron's bitch, how Optimus becomes Prime and the leader of the Autobots, and how the Allspark from the first movie fits into everything. I really enjoyed the story and the way that it was told, and it really brought me back to the days of sitting in front of the TV for hours watching these bastards go to town on each other. Unfortunately, it just doesn't last for very long.
One shall fall.
The campaign is broken down into 5 levels for the Decepticons and 5 levels for the Autobots, and the campaign may be played in any order you choose and with up to 2 friends co-op, but in total only lasts for about 8 hours. Fortunately, the game has a kick-ass Modern Warfare 2 style multiplayer system with all of your favorite game types like Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, Territories, Capture the Flag, Neutral Bomb, and a game mode where you have to see how long you can survive wave after wave of enemies. As you play online, you'll unlock new perks, achievements, level up, and you're even able to create and customize your own robot, complete with loadouts, buffs, and special abilities. Now, this is nothing we haven't seen before, but it's implemented very well and it just feels freaking awesome to play these matches as your favorite Transformers. Now, while the game is broken down into 10 levels, each level has a buttload of auto save points so that you may quickly load up your favorite portions of each of these really long levels whenever you like. With that, you never have to worry about saving your game either. Now, one thing that bothered me though was that it took forever to load up the game the first time and install it to the hard drive. I probably sat there a good 30 minutes before I was actually able to play. Other than that, the design of the game was wonderful. Now for the good stuff. Each level gives you a selection of 3 pre-selected characters to play as, but throughout the whole campaign, you have the ability to play as a ton of different robots. The combat is of course third person, and it's actually pretty tough, especially when you have to fight some crazy fucking huge ass robots. There's no cover system built in, but you'll actually need to run around and hide a bit to avoid taking too much damage, and your health bar is broken down into several sections, each capable of individually recharging as long as they're not fully depleted. Now, if you don't have any friends to play with, you're going to be a bit handicapped because the AI of your teammates is pretty retarded, as they usually just stand there shooting blanks, forcing you to tank and deal all the damage. There's several different classes of robots in both the single and multiplayer modes, giving you access to war vehicles, trucks, cars, and planes. Well, the Cybertronian versions of them, if you will. The leader class has some unique and powerful weapons, as well as the ability to buff players around them. The soldiers are your big damage dealers, but are ground-based. The scouts are quick and can cloak, and even disguise themselves, and the scientists disable enemy weapons, create turrets, and can fly. You can transform at any time and as often as you like, but all of your weapons, both in and out of humanoid form, have limited ammo, so you're constantly going to be looking for more weapons and ammunition packs. The only real problem I have with the gameplay is that the button to transform is a click of the left thumbstick, and I don't know about you, but in the heat of battle, I beat the hell out of that controller, and more often times than I'd like to admit, I accidentally transformed when I simply pushed too hard on the stick while I was moving. While not an issue so much in the campaign, it's certainly a problem in the competitive multiplayer games.
all systems online. Dark energon, manufacturing, and optimal efficiency.
I thought the art style of the game was fantastic. It's very dark with lots of grays and dark purples and reds, and actually looks like a combination between a cartoon and a movie. The in-game graphics are nearly identical to the game engine rendered cutscenes, and the pre-rendered cinematics following each mission were stunning. I never really ran into any frame rate issues, but there are some pretty severe texture popping issues, as indicative of its Unreal Engine 3 game engine. In fact, the game actually glitched out and locked up my PlayStation twice, both times forcing a hard reboot of the system, and it usually happened when I got to a new save spot and was too far ahead of my AI teammates. For the most part, the soundtrack was decent enough, but what really caught my attention was the totally epic credits to the game, with great cartoony graphics and a song that has not left my head all week. Now, I've heard of some people commenting on the cheesy voice acting, but I thought it was spot on. The actors were wonderful, and they really gave a throwback more so to the cartoon than they did the movie. Yes, the lines are cheesy, but so is the cartoon.
Omega activated. Power optimal. Mission: destroy Megatron.
All in all, I thought Transformers War for Cybertron was freaking awesome. The campaign was fun, but really short, and I wanted a lot more out of it, as the backstory of this great franchise is really interesting. Luckily, the multiplayer features make up for the lack of content in the campaign and completely justify the $60 price tag. If you're looking for a fun shooter that really brings you back to your childhood, or just makes you feel like a badass as you blast your robot with a rocket launcher and transform into a jet to get the shit out of there before all of his friends home in on you, this is certainly a title you should check out. Whether or not you've played this game, who's your favorite Transformer and why? Leave your questions and comments below. Check out the full write-up, screenshots, and gameplay footage over at ZeitgeistGameReview.com. Stay up to date by following me on Twitter, and check out my other channel, Zeitgeist Other, for gameplay footage. Don't forget to subscribe and press the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.